Hey guys, it's Nicole from the Heritage Homestead. I have been meaning to get a video of the coop and kind of give you guys a virtual tour. I had a few people ask me about it and I just haven't had the time or the energy, and now that we're getting kids ready for school, things are starting to slow down a little bit. So I thought I'd take some time this morning and show you the inside of the coop. This is the outside, and you can see that it is just a basic frame of a house. We've got 4 posts on each end and then a post in the middle, as well as the door frame posts. I'm going to walk you around the outside first. We've got eaves on it just like a house, and this was built when we got here, so we did not build this, but it very much works for our needs. You can tell on the outside we have chain link fence attached. There's hog wire about halfway down, and if you look closely, the hog wire gets smaller with each layer that they add. We've got chicken wire along the bottom, and then on the ground we've also got chicken wire buried here, and we also have hardware cloth underneath that. So that is one way we keep predators out of the coop, is by making sure there's no gaps or holes within the roof line, within the place where the board and the fencing meet. We have stones along the foundation here. On this side of the coop, same thing, but down here we have dug hardware cloth along the perimeter as well underneath the ground, so if an animal starts to claw, they can't get through. And this is basically the outside. Alright, now we'll go on the inside. So from the front door, when you first walk in, to the left here is a dust bathing box. And these are just landscaping timbers that were on our property when we moved in, and we just set them in place. You want to make sure all screws and nails are out of them, so that way the birds won't cut themselves. But fill it with dirt. Our birds have, you can see, been using this, and so it's time for us to fill this back up with some dirt, and we generally do that in the fall when we clean the whole coop out and prepare it for the fall. And then we've got our nesting boxes along here on the back. These are ones my husband made, and they're 12 by 12. Got a bird in there now. 12 by 12. We put the boards across the front to keep them feel closed in, keep them feel safe. We use pine shavings for the bedding. We put these curtains on here because some of the birds like privacy when they lay their eggs. And then we've got some birds, when they go broody, they don't want to have contact with any other birds. And so those are kind of the broody boxes. These boxes here are a different size. I don't remember the exact size, but they are more long than they are wide. So the smaller birds typically use these. And then along here we've got 2 great big dog kennels. And right now we've got to clean these up. But I'll tell you, these are the maternity wards when we are hatching chicks, or if we have new birds that we're integrating. We put a ton of pine shavings down on the ground. The birds go in these kennels. We shut the doors. They have their own food and water, and that way the other birds can get used to them being in the coop without actually reaching them and attacking them. And we've gotten some articles on our blog about that if you want to look that up at the heritagehomestead.com/chickens. You can also see our roosting area here. And my husband built this. We used to have other means, but we had so many birds, they just weren't able to all roost together. And these are, I think they're 1x1s. And we just put them across the 2x4s, and we spaced them out enough so the birds can climb them. Now I will say, this is a very high roost. Most roosts are not this high, and some of our birds have actually injured themselves jumping down from that top bar to the ground. So just keep that in mind when you're building a roost. But we had so many birds, we felt like we needed to take advantage of all the space that we had. And then this is behind the door, and my husband built this door And this is one that we just used 2x4s, and then we have the hog wire on it along with the fencing, and then we built a handle and a normal latch lock just to keep it closed at night. He put that middle beam in there for bracing. I know it's kind of hard to see because I've got the roosts behind there. But pretty much that's the virtual tour of our coop. We use a deep litter method, so we've got dirt all in the floor, along with pine shavings, chicken poo, cardboard, paper. In the fall we put down hay. But the deep litter method keeps dirt in the coop for them to dust bathe with, as well as their boxes. But it also keeps us from having to clean the coop out as often, because we clean it twice a year. And the deep litter method essentially is creating a composting type element within your coop. So there's dirt, and there's feathers, and there's chicken poop, and there's leaves, and there's all these things of nature that will break down and decompose on their own. And as you do this, the soil becomes richer. We do shovel out the chicken poo once in a while and take it to the garden. And we prefer this method as opposed to sand, or as opposed to just a wood flooring that you put hay down on. And plus, if there's any bugs in the ground, the birds eat them. So our biggest challenge, I would think, with this particular coop is keeping it dry in the rainy season, because it is, you can see with the fencing, it's ventilated on all sides, which is really good, because the chicken poo has so much nitrogen in it. As it begins to break down, you're gonna have issues with it creating heat and possibly not enough moisture in the air and enough ventilation. And we do have that working to our advantage. But in the fall, and we'll show you other videos as the seasons pass through, we cover the outside with Visqueen to keep the wind chill down and to keep the water out during the fall and the winter and the snow. But I hope you've enjoyed this tour. Holler at us if you've got questions. We're not experts by any means, but we do enjoy it, and we just like to share with you our what we do and help you learn from our mistakes. So shoot us some questions in the comments if you've got them, and share it with everybody that you know who is interested in coop design and what may work for them. We may, and we have talked about building a second coop in the next few years, but we'll just wait and see how that goes. We'll talk to you later, and hope you have a good day. Bye.